why is it time for the Steelers to find a fresh start with a new head coach?
I'm glad you said that you don't disagree, because there's so many folks like yourselves who are in the national media, if you will, who I don't know if it's just they don't follow the games or they just tune in to see what Coach T has to say in his cool press conferences. But like, I have a hard time understanding the ridiculous aspect that so many of the national media have. After fans were chanting "Fire Mike Tomlin" and booing him and everything this past weekend, so many people up in arms. Oh, how can they do this? I don't understand. It's a ridiculous notion. Is it ridiculous? 6-11 his last 17 games, was 10-3 last year, finished 10-8, a blowout loss to your rival on the road, 300 yards rushing on the ground. Hasn't won a playoff game since the Obama administration. Hasn't been on a playoff run in about 10 years. The list goes on and on. This year alone, they've blown 4 halftime leads. If they blow another one, which chances are they probably will in the last 5 games, that'll be the franchise record for the most in a season. So I have a disconnect with where everybody says, oh, it's Mike Tomlin. What do you mean you're going to fire him? With what the reality actually is. And the reality is that it's stale, that his way of doing things is not working. The proof is in the pudding. And it's just time for a breakup, right? It's like, my friend Colin Cowherd says, like, don't have a baby to save the marriage, right? Like, okay, don't draft a quarterback for Mike Tomlin to try to save the marriage of you and Mike Tomlin. It's just time to part ways. That's okay. And also this other notion of, well, why would you let him go? Because he's going to get hired in 2 seconds if you let him go. Okay, so the best relationships are known for staying in them just because you don't want to see that person with somebody else, right? Everybody famously knows that when you're in a relationship that's going nowhere, that has been successful before, but it's kind of toxic now, and it kind of just, you're not feeling the same, and it kind of just sucks. Yeah, well, I don't want to break up with that person because, man, somebody's going to be sliding into their DMs real quick right after this, and I don't want that to happen. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So it's just, look, you can have on one hand appreciation and respect for what Mike Tomlin has done. I have that. On the other hand, you could say, you know what? It's just best to break ties, to start over with the draft in Pittsburgh in 2026, maybe take a quarterback and start with a new voice and completely rebuild from there. And that's where I am, right in the middle. That's not crazy, right?
It's not crazy. I think, Joey, for me, part of the math, it's hard. And this is what I said coming into the season, in fairness. If this was supposed to be the bounce back year for Tomlin, how did they expect that to happen with Aaron Rodgers? Like, you put a Band-Aid on just a massive wound at the quarterback position with an old guy that I thought was washed coming into the season. So, like, for me, I don't know why we're surprised by the result we're getting, given the fact that they didn't really solve the quarterback problem, and that was such an issue coming last year. So, like, what were your expectations coming into this season?
Here's another disconnect with folks who perhaps maybe don't follow week in, week out, day to day. Mike Tomlin, like Bill Parcells famously said, would love to be able to have the ingredients and cook them too. Mike Tomlin is front and center with picking the ingredients for this roster. You see him on this side. He's excited to bring in Russell Wilson. He's excited to bring in Aaron Rodgers. That's his guy that he's whispering to in the post game after the Jets game last year. He had the meeting with Aaron Rodgers for 6.5 hours in Pittsburgh in May or June of this year. He picks the ingredients, man. It's not like this thing where it's just like Coach T rolls in there and, oh, well, I guess this is the hand that I'm dealt. No, he's dealing the hand and he's playing the game too.
I don't everything you're saying is totally logical. It makes a ton of sense. What should they have done? What could they have done at quarterback? It'd be I'm not defending the fact that the result hasn't been good enough.
Here's the thing.
Here's the path to a quarterback.
That's fine. Okay, but what I should have said on top of what I just said is that commit to something. Mike Tomlin in this organization right now, they refuse to commit to the path to get you anywhere but mediocrity right stuck in the middle. They're so stubborn and arrogant at the moment to refuse to let their guard down and get past this kind of 10-win-ish, make it into the playoffs, be right there in December, for the sake of pride or for the sake of the Steeler way or whatever that means now. They're so stubborn and arrogant at the moment that they can't just accept the fact that they need to cut down their guard, and commit to a path to getting that quarterback. If Mike Tomlin and Art Rooney and this organization a handful of years ago would have said, you know what? Time to wipe our hands. We're going to do it the tough way, and it's going to be rough. And yeah, we may feel like the Raiders. We may feel like the Saints for a couple of years, but gosh darn it, at least there's a path to something. Then you know what? I probably wouldn't be as harsh on Mike Tomlin and the organization right now. I probably would have a little bit more of a belief in him and say, hey, you know what? Good for you. You plan to commit to something. You committed to the rebuild. You wanted to go after a quarterback, and this is the best way to do it. And they didn't do that. They refused to let their stubbornness go down, and they said, you know what? No, we're going to do things our way, and we're going to middle around them in the middle, and we're going to slap Band-Aids on things, and we're going to bring in high-end old free agents on the defensive side of the ball, old quarterbacks. And you know what? We're just going to roll a ball out there and hope TJ Watt gets a strip sack every game to save our behinds at the end of the day. That's the problem. If they would have said, to your point, if they would have committed to a real plan to go for quarterback, then this would be different. I wouldn't be so harsh on Mike Tomlin and the Steelers right now, but they didn't. They decided to be stubborn, and they decided to be arrogant, and they decided to say, hey, we're just going to try to be in the mix, and we're going to try to stick right around in the middle. And really, in all reality, it's getting you nowhere, just as it is right now. 6-6, going back to Baltimore, the place that kicked you out of the playoffs last year in embarrassing fashion.
Joey, I am of the belief that being in the mucky middle is even worse than being terrible in sports. Because at least when you're terrible, there's a path to getting better. You can get a
Exactly.
top 3 pick and find your quarterback of the future. But everything that you're saying sounds so similar to so many of the conversations that I was having. I was doing sports talk radio in Nashville for several years toward the end of Mike Vrabel's tenure with the Titans. Same thing. I said the exact same thing. If somebody else wants to hire him tomorrow, let him. It's run its course here. It's done here. It's over here. Now, in hindsight, Mike Vrabel might be coach of the year, coaching a quarterback that's in MVP contention, a team that has the best record in football, and the Titans have been absolutely miserable since. Are you on board for that, if that is what happens, if and when the Steelers decide to change course, move on from Mike Tomlin, and embrace the suck for a few years?
Yeah, I think you have to be. I mean, I think, it gets brought up a lot, but I think the perfect scenario that you look at, the most comparable, is the Andy Reid situation in Philadelphia. I mean, he was there for 15 years? I mean, a long time. He was there in Philadelphia, had a lot of success. But at the end of his tenure there, it just felt like time for both sides. He moves on, goes over to the AFC with Kansas City. It worked out well. It's worked out fairly well for the Eagles too, right? Like, I think that if you ask a lot of Steelers fans right now, they would say, yeah, we would trade positions with where the Eagles are. Sure, they had some down years in between, but they've been to 3 Super Bowls and they've won 2 since that time. So look, again, this is kind of what I was mentioning about, like, so you're not going to make a move because you're afraid of what could happen on the other side. I don't want to live, like Mike Tomlin says, I don't want to live in my fears. I don't want to live in the fear that Mike Tomlin's going to move on and go coach the Giants and have a lot of success there. And be afraid of that, and afraid that we can't make the right decision. Put some belief in yourself. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You're the Rooneys. Put some belief in yourself that you're going to make that 4th hire in the last 60 years, and it's going to be the one that moves you, for the next 20. Don't sit here and say, I don't know, he could be successful somewhere else. That's chicken blank. That's absolute chicken blank right there. Believe in yourself, man. Be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go out there and lay it on the line.
Can't play football scared?
Joey, we could talk to you about this for hours. It's endless debate.
I know. I'm sorry. I got really fired up, and
it's your team.
Joe, and look, this is something I'm always honest about. Like, part of the reason I get fired up about it is because in my life as a Raiders fan, since Tomlin was hired, I've watched 11 head coaches. I've seen 11 head coaches. So my fear for every organization that says, hey, I'd rather suck, because that's exactly what I said. When the Raiders lost the Super Bowl, I looked at my friends and said, I'd rather suck than keep losing in the AFC Championship game in the Super Bowl the way they did 4 straight years. It was such a heartbreak for me. And then I watch double-digit losses for double-digit years consecutively.
Yeah.
So that's always my concern. But I hear you. Like, it's maddening no matter where you are. If you're in the sea of suck, you want to be in mediocrity. If you're in mediocrity, you'll take the sea of suck. Like, we're all just trying to chase Super Bowls. It's amazing. But in addition to the sports content that we could talk to you about all day, every day, you are an epic stand-up comedian. We're all huge fans. We were excited to come in on the show because obviously – we love your work. Everybody loves your work. So let's talk a little bit about it. You got a show coming up in Chicago in 3 weeks, 12/22. You see there, the fakest week of the year, Zany Chicago. Tell everybody a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you saying all that. These Guys Live, that's me and Benedict Polizzi, the reality TV star, my buddy I grew up with. And we've been making content, doing videos together now for almost a decade. We do a show together, and so every now and then we like to go out and do a live show together. We did one in Indy last year, and it was really successful. And so we decided to go up to Chicago this year, and so looking forward to it. Me and him have both performed there individually at Zanies in Chicago. Both were sellouts, I'd like to say. So we'll like to have the same thing happen, Chicago show out for us there. But me and him up on stage laughing, being goofballs. Everybody wear your best jersey. Hopefully a lot of Rex Grossman's in the house. Maybe some Nathan Bashers. We're big into those. So come on out. Like we said, the fakest week of the year. Nothing's happening. I know it's Monday night. Yeah, but 12/23. What are you doing on December 23rd on a Tuesday? You're not doing jack, right? So come out, Chicago. It's going to be a blast, and hope to see everybody there.
Can have fun on school nights. There's no rules around here.
Yeah.
And one thing that you are so excellent at is impressions. And we all know it's Aaron Rodgers' birthday. Very publicly talked about how old Aaron Rodgers is. So we're going to go play a little game. We're going to go through a list of these people, and we're going to have you wish Aaron Rodgers a very, very happy 42nd birthday in each of their voices, if you're down for that.
Okay, just a forewarning. I have been battling a little bit of a cold bug sickness here. I don't know if you can tell in my nasally here. So I will, for you guys, I'll try to power through and make this the best I can. Let's go.
Okay, Let's get it. First and foremost, happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers, from Cris Collinsworth.
Boy, 42 years old for Aaron Rodgers. You know, I look at Aaron Rodgers and I say, you know, here's a guy that looks like he's still 22 when he's out there playing. You know, I know the naysayers say, yeah, it looks like an old man, but he sure looks superb to me. There is no doubt about it. Happy birthday to you, Aaron. Here's a 22 more years playing football.
God, you're so amazing. What about give us Andrew Luck next? What do you got on Andrew Luck?
You guys got me?
Yeah, we got you. Andrew Luck.
We got you.
Oh, shoot.
You still have us? There we go.
Andrew Luck? Andrew Luck. Oh, wow. Big happy birthday to someone who I've always admired. You know, West Coast guy, goes to Cal, and I'm at Stanford now. That's one of the reasons I wore number 12. It is. So big happy birthday to him. And hope he gets a lot of cupcakes and good things for his big 42nd birthday. Some people say I look 42, but I only retired when I was 27. So still plenty of time left for him to play, for sure.
It's so good. The lips and the eyes. Just the instant walk in. All right, Mahomes. Happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers from Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody loves Aaron Rodgers and what he's done for the game. And so just, a huge shout out to him. And, people say that, people throw the ball like me now, but really everybody throws the ball like Aaron Rodgers. So good for you, man. Happy birthday. I know that you've dated and hung out with a lot of famous people, but you didn't hang out with Taylor Swift like I have. So happy birthday, man. Have a good one.
Oh, my God. What about Saban? Can you give us Saban?
Well, Aaron, you know what you get for your birthday? Being 42 years old, you get nothing. That's the power of nothing. Because when you're 42, you get nothing. Kind of a lot like what you've been bringing the Steelers offense, nothing. All right, so happy birthday to you. Everybody wants to make it a big deal for you, but remember, as you get older, you get nothing.